When I bet, I like getting something back, win or lose. That's why we're excited to announce our new partnership with Fanatics Sportsbook. It's the only sportsbook that gives you fan cash when you bet, win or lose. Use fan cash on all Knicks, NBA, or other fan gear, as well as bonus bets, collectibles, and more. It's the most rewarding place for fans to place their bets. Download the Fanatics Sportsbook app now and let the fan cash flow. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut residents, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts residents, call 800-327-5050. New York residents, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland residents, visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
What's good, family? You're now locked into another episode of the Casual Thursday podcast here on the Knicks Film School YouTube channel. Special edition. That has to be a special edition because this team could not take care of business in Boston. So now we're coming to you on a Thursday to talk about that week that was and the week that is yet to be. I'm Jeff. That is Shawn with a W. And we're locked in talking about this series, really, the series with Boston. Missed opportunity in Beantown to end the series, to put the dagger through the hearts of the defending champions. It's been a few hours, like 12, 24. Not hasn't been 24 yet. A little under, maybe like 20 hours.
Yeah.
How you feeling, Shawn?
It's interesting that you began the show with we are now locked in, because we are locked in.
Oh,
Me
yeah.
and you.
We are.
We are. These dudes. These dudes, and I'm going to point to, hold on, 2025. Those dudes are not locked in. In fact, they specialize in not being locked in. They enjoy being not locked in. They thrive on it. You really adopted a dog. I was born in it, molded by it. Like, I just funny. Our friend Cedric texted us this morning because I complained a little bit about the Knicks, and he replied, "The Knicks can't hurt me anymore." And what I said to him, and what I said to you before we got on the show, is that the Knicks cannot hurt me either, but they sure as shit can disappoint me. And they disappointed me on Wednesday night at the TD Jake Center.
Bro, I've been so annoyed. I woke up annoyed. I actually didn't go to bed annoyed. I went to bed. I just crashed because I was just consuming all the post-game Knicks content I could and just going over the numbers. I was like, whatever. Woke up this morning, I was fucking annoyed, man. Like annoyed, not even disappointed, just annoyed. This has been a super busy week. My daughter turned 1, and if you have kids, you know, kids in general are a lot. Kids on their first birthday, it's a whole other animal. We got so much planning, so many things we have to do, that I said, man, it would be beautiful to not have to worry about the Knicks for this whole weekend. Now I have to, like, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, get ready for conference finals on Monday, start the week off. Let's get it. They're not trying to hear that. I wasn't trying to hear that at all. And just throughout the day, just going throughout my day, it just really frustrated me. More so because I felt upset at myself for buying in to their level of seriousness. Where I said, okay, throughout this postseason, it seems like they learn about themselves in real time and they apply it. So if they've learned about themselves, they know what happened in game 5 against the Pistons. You know what happened in game 3 against the Celtics. And every game after, they bounced back and they got a W. So I figured, okay, maybe this one time you want to deal with prosperity. Maybe you'll accept success. No, No, we'll give you prosperity for a half. For a half. And then it all came down. And I think what's equally frustrating for me is I feel like it was partially avoidable. I feel like schematically,
Partially.
I feel like because I don't want to discount the Celtics part in it. They literally scratched, clawed, and made the team bleed. They was out there grabbing meat. They was doing everything to try to win this game. Literally scratching and crawling from the grave. So I don't want to discount what they did. They had an all-time night. But I felt like schematically with this transition defense and the coaching and the lack of substitutions and trying to stop the bleeding in the third quarter aided the run and made it more difficult on yourself. That's the theme for me. You're making this thing more difficult on yourself as you go on and on and on. And it sucks because I'm watching the Pacers, I'm watching the Wolves. Similar situation, facing teams that are either hobbled or they don't got their best player. Minnesota took care of it at home. Indiana took care of it on the road. Killer instinct. And this team just doesn't have it. So I think more than anything, that's what frustrated me is that we all see it. We all know it. Y'all see it. But it keeps happening. The inconsistency is your identity. And I think that's just annoying more than anything. It really bothers me because it feels like they're wasting their talent.
And the saddest thing in the world is wasted talent. Shout out to Bronx Tales, Robert De Niro. I say this all the time. I've said this on these airwaves. I've said this on other airwaves. When the you know what hits the fan, people do not rise to the occasion. They sink to their level of training. And this team wants to play a certain way. They want to do things a certain way. Listen, they've been playing basketball since they were 9, 10, 11 years old. And when you are clearly the best kid in your school, in your class, in your recruiting class, or top 5, the things that you will develop, habits that you will keep with you. And if no one coaches them out of you, you will keep them forever. This team wants to play a certain way, and the coach is fond of letting them play that way. I'm going to give a shout out to State because when the Knicks made the 4th seed in 2021, and we were all happy, he came up with the phrase, the almighty 4th seed, talking about how people were exalting the fact that they finished 4th. And listen, I was one of those people because after doing not a thing for the majority of the century, like to go from I hope they finish 10th to 4th, I think should be celebrated. But that was then, and this is now. And now that is not acceptable. Just finishing 4th and getting to the playoffs is no longer acceptable. And for this team, which has been reworked, upgraded, pieces in, pieces out, for this team that has won fuck all to approach games in the manner they do is asinine, acid 10, acid 11, acid 12. But then again, and I said this last night, and me and Andrew had a little back and forth on playback last night, the players aren't blameless. But I'm putting more of the blame. I'm giving the majority of blame to the coach because the coach is the adult in the room. I say this all the time. Players are children, coaches are adults. It's your job to be the adult. My son's bedtime is 8:30. If I go upstairs, if I leave here and I go to the living room and it's 8:30 and he's still sitting in his chair, right, that's on him. If I come back down here and I go upstairs at 8:40 and he's still sitting in his chair, and I tell him go upstairs, that's on him. If I go back downstairs, I come at 8:50 and he's still in his chair, that's on me because I'm the adult. Because the kid wants to play PlayStation. He wants to play on his iPad. He wants to watch TV. He doesn't want to brush his teeth. He doesn't want to take a shower. He wants to do that. And it's my job to say, no, Zach, this is more important than that. And again, you know why I say they're children? The players are children? Because they're playing a children's game. They're playing a game that we've all played since we were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. And again, they develop habits just like my son develops habits. It is the job of the coach to say, hey, we can't do that anymore. But the coach decided to try the same thing more than once, repeatedly, and expected a different result. Jeff, what is that?
Sounds like insanity to me.
I remember, and I'll wrap here, I'll throw it back to you. I remember years ago, Steve Young he was on either something ESPN, whether it's PTI, NFL Live, whatever. And he was talking about the Jets. This was the Jets like the year after they made 2 straight AFC title games. And, they were depending more on Mark Sanchez to help them win games. He wasn't getting it done. And Steve Young said, listen, this Jets team isn't, there's holes here. The offense isn't great, da-da-da-da. So the ship is kind of going down. But as a quarterback, you can't accelerate the down. You can't help them move their way down. That's not your job as a quarterback. You can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And last night, I'm looking at 2 people. I'm looking at the head coach and I'm looking at the captain. You can't accelerate the down. But to think that you could have kept doing what you were doing repeatedly and thought that it would work. It's never the why. It's never the what, Jeff. It's the why. It's the how. I say this all the time. Teams do not usually win game 5s on the road to end a playoff series. They usually don't, because in the back of your mind, you're thinking, you know what? We have game 6. That is usually the case.
Human nature.
However, when I see Indiana close the door in 5 on the road, when I see Minnesota walk into the Staples Center and close game 5 on the road, and then I see my team against a team whose best player tore his Achilles on the Garden for the game before. Listen, I saw the Golden State Warriors lose a game 5 on the road by 39 points. The whoop that trick game. I seen that. There is nothing about this team that says 2017 Golden State Warriors. Nothing. So again, it's not that I'm sad, that I'm not hurt. It's just frustrating because you're better than that. And they choose to not be better.
That's the important part. It's all a choice. It's all a choice. Because if you tell me you guys can come out in game 4 and look like a completely different team than you did in game 3, part of that is you choosing to assert yourself. So then the question remains, why didn't you choose that in game 3? If you played like that in game 3, maybe we don't even make it to a game 5. If you think about it, maybe if they play hard like that, maybe they pull out game 3 and maybe it's an unfathomable sweep, but maybe it is a sweep. And I think there are times, this team is super fascinating. It's one of the most fascinating seasons of a team that I've rooted for. Because when I say I really don't know, I thought we finally had their identity locked down. I think their identity is chaos at this point. Anything can happen. It's a random generator where you run it, and whatever it lands on that day is however those guys are going to respond. This team is one of the most mentally steely, tough teams that I've seen in clutch time. Like, if it feels like once the clock goes to 5 minutes and less, IQ jumps 100 points, determination jumps 200 points, courage and calm and character, all the attributes raise. They're cool, they're calm, they're collected, they're sharp, they're innovative, they're perceptive, and they're locked in. I don't understand why that doesn't happen for the previous 39 minutes. or 40 or 43 minutes, I should say. I don't know why that doesn't happen for the previous 43 minutes. These dudes shitty transition defense aside, Boston had to shoot 50% to have the game tied. That had all the makings of a third quarter where you lay the hammer and you get out of there with a win. That's what Indiana did. That's what Minnesota did. But this team allowed themselves to get outscored by double digits. Then on top of it, where I look at the coaches, I say, yo, at some point you got to stop the bleeding. It took you 8 minutes to make a sub. And for all of the data that they consume, you should know that Miles McBride and Mitchell Robinson are your two most impactful players right now, because that starting unit ain't it. You look at all the advanced numbers, they have a negative net rating. Almost every other Knicks lineup other than the starting unit has a double-digit net rating. Where's the innovation? Where's the change? Where is the reaction to what you see on the court? That's another thing that's super frustrating. It's like this stuff is easily correctable. I talked about their mental toughness. I feel like whenever they get challenged a certain way, they go into business for themselves. Josh Hart, and I cannot blame him. My man gets elbowed in the head, busted wide open like Mick Foley in ECW, and gets called a common foul. Then a few plays later, Jaylen Brown, trying to fight through a screen, mauls my dude's meat. He was a pecker pincher. He had a handful of this dude's junk. And what do we get out of it? Double technical fouls. And this is one of those things, the way in which we can't relate to pregnancy and the pain of pregnancy. There's an equal relation that women cannot make to getting hit in your nether regions. I'm not comparing the levels of pain, but what I'm saying
How do we get from pecker puncher?
He's a pecker pincher
To pregnancy. I'm sorry. Continue. I'm sorry.
No. That's why I said I'm not comparing the levels of pain, but you've had like women in your life who would say, whether it's friends or significant others or sisters, whatever, moms, whatever, will be like, yo, what does it feel like when you get hit down there? And men cannot describe it because it's an indescribable feeling. Like you get hit down there and everything shuts down. Your whole body shuts down. It's like somebody flipped an emergency shutdown switch. And the fact that we're playing a basketball game and it's a men's basketball game, and the refs see that happen to a man and say, you know what, double technical fouls? Like at minimum, just for the violation alone, that's a flagrant one. And low-key, if I saw Benedict Mathurin get thrown out of a game for a sneak punch, it was sneaky, but it wasn't no like punch. But he hit him in the breadbasket. Jaylen Brown should have got ejected from that game. Like if we're comparing the punishments fitting the crime. I think after that happened, the team just got out of their head. And then they started wanting to go one-on-one. Josh Hart hit that three, and I was like, okay, cool, good payback. But it just felt like they weren't locked in from that point. They had a 9-point lead at one point. They lost it. Just felt like it wasn't locked in. And I feel that energy shift when it feels like they're trying to make a point, but they're not the team that can make that point and win. It becomes a Pyrrhic defeat. It's not even a Pyrrhic victory because you don't win the game. It's a Pyrrhic defeat. So what are we doing here? Like that transition defense, it's been 5 games. Why are you not guarding Derek White? Like, honestly, let's talk about it. Why are you not guarding Derek White? Why do they get wide open threes when you know contested they're missing? Wide open threes, you're not picking them up in transition. They're running ghost screens and you're getting lost. You learn something and it feels like the next game you're a goldfish and you've automatically forgotten. That's why I think is super frustrating to me as well. Who are you guys? And why should fans just automatically assume you're going to get it together for Game 6?
They are who we thought they were. That's it. But to answer your question, you know why we can believe they'll get it together for Game 6? Because that's what they do. Like
that's what's the most frustrating, low key.
Yes. Like Game 4, we were all in the building for Game 4, and even though I said on Casual Friday, I said on Study Hall, like they're gonna win Game 4 because something told me they were going to be like, all right, this is what we got to do. And yes, I believe that teams do not rise to the occasion; they stay to the level of training. I have to believe that they know, okay, we know what we have to do to win this game. Let's go and do it. Because if not now, when? Because do you want to go back to Boston for Game 7? So just do me a favor, New York Knicks. Go win Game 6. I'm not even saying go win one more. I'm not even saying go win one more, because then if I say go win one more, it's like
you're gonna go to 7.
Win 6 or 7. No. Go win Game 6. Go give what you have been dangling in front of this fan base for 2 seasons, a series clinching win at home. Go shut Dave Portnoy, what I like to call, the fuck up.
I don't even like giving that dude airtime, man.
That's the listen. I have not retweeted any of his stuff because for that same reason. But go listen. I got Celtics fans that have been in my phone since. Like I've had Celtics fans in my phone literally 15 minutes after Jalen Brunson hit the shot to get Detroit out of here. Got a Celtics fan text me. That's cute. Get these dudes out of here. Go win Game 6. I don't want to hear about officiating. I don't want to hear about like what they're doing and Derek and Luke Cornell. Go win Game 6. Go win Game 6. Go win the game.
How do they win the game?
How do they win the game? Let's see. Okay, I will start from the top. Jalen Brunson doesn't go into fuck it, I guess I got to do it mode. They run plays for Karl-Anthony Towns. They put his big ass in the post because no one on that team can guard him. None. Josh Hart has to do Josh Hart things. You don't get to not, even though, listen, you hit 4 threes yesterday. Kudos to you. They still ignored you like you were a homeless person on the train. You got to do Josh Hart things. Like someone said, shout out to someone in the chat said it. Dave said his cute third quarter was awful. I agree. Mikal Bridges, can you try to like get a free throw? Can you like go to the bat? Actually, OG and Mikal hit shots. And Tibbs, the first rate. You know something, Jeff? I was listening to your last little monologue there, and when you're talking about why like they're watching the game and they're not making adjustments. It's hilarious because the head coach always, what does the head coach always say? The game will tell you what to do. And I'm gonna throw this comment up here real quick. It's from Mark Best. He can't make adjustments, leaves campaign in there way too long because in his mind, this is how the rotations go. Although that wasn't a plan yesterday, but whatever. When we go up 8 to set him down when we were down 2, he doesn't have a feel for the game. I would disagree that he doesn't make adjustments because he definitely has made adjustments. He made the adjustment for campaign in game 1 against Detroit that won him the game. He made the adjustment to go to a switching defense in games 1 and 2 that helped them win those games. He's made adjustments. But at the same time, as I said earlier, people do not rise to the occasion. They sink to the level of training. And the head coach has things that he values. And you know what he really values? He really values his starting lineup, which is like a negative 7.7 per 100 possessions. He really values them. Like, I will agree with you in this comment is that when he say he doesn't have a feel for the game, that's what I agree with, because he will see what's going on and he will just think, okay, maybe just give it another minute, give it another 2 minutes. It'll just turn around. Why? But to answer your question, all those things I said, that's how they can win Game 6.
So did you hear Tibbs's response when he asked him why'd you leave the starters in so long?
Oh yes, he was searching.
Searching. I was like, yo, I'm searching? What were you looking for? You was trying to hold out. You thought they were going to go on a run and you could ride them out for the whole quarter. I think the most underrated thing that happened in Game 4 was Hart got into foul trouble, so he had to sub him out to put Deuce and Mitch in there, and they ended up locking up. Deuce has been space cadetting here and there with perimeter. I don't know why he went under that screen with Peyton Pritchard. I don't know if he thought OG was going to jump out or whatever, but when he's been in the game and he was on Derek White for that second half, shut Derek White's water off. They have zero answer for Mitchell Robinson. Mitch is treating the Celtics like he treated the Cavs in 2022 or 2023, excuse me. That season, he's treating them like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley from 23. They have no answer, but yet he can't get in and shift the paradigm when Cat wasn't giving you anything. It's like there are moves to make and they're not made. So when you tell me everything that needs to happen, anything outside of the player's control, I don't have confidence that it's going to happen, because it's almost as if Tibbs wants to be stubborn. The same way we were talking about the Celtics and their hoop hubris and their arrogance with the three-point shot. Tibbs has his arrogance with the starting lineup. He just refuses, despite what every metric says, he refuses to shake it up. He refuses to just go in shorter stints. Even if you want to start out with them to be symbolic. 9 minutes into the game, let's get Deuce in. Let's get Mitch in. Or even 8 minutes if you want to go in 4-minute waves. Use your players. You're definitely going to need that if you make it to Indiana. So what are we doing here? That's why I think another point is just the transition defense. Like, they gotta talk. I keep hearing them say, we're not talking. We're miscommunicating. We're doing all that. Why do y'all keep saying it and y'all don't correct it? That's my thing. Just correct the shit.
Because people do not rise to the occasion. They sink to their level of training.
So they need to train more then. Train as much as you can before the next game.
It's funny you say that. Read this comment from Freeway Hustler 21.
They never practice. Might seem simple, but repetition creates habits and synergy and instinct. Team plays like they are playing pickup game at Dykeman. You know what's funny about that? I said something similar on playback. I said, oh, this shit looks like an open run. They don't even look like they know each other. At one point in that third quarter, it looked like 5 guys that just got an opportunity to get together as a team to play the Boston Celtics at the Garden in an open run. Yeah, some of that is gonna have to change. Like, you don't gotta go hard, but you gotta go over your plays. And I thought it was also telling when we're having this discussion about Cat and his most effectiveness. Why is he not shooting threes? He gave a comment the other night where he pretty much said that's not the game plan. That's not the game plan. The game plan is for him to be, you know what the game plan for him is in Tibbs' eyes, just judging off what we see? Tibbs wants him to be Julius.
I was going to go a step further. I would say he wants to be he's a $49 million floor spacer, so he keep Josh Hart on the floor.
Oh my God.
That's what think about it. How many times in the clutch situation we're like, all right, Cat is just in the corner because we have to have Josh Hart in there and Luke, if Josh Hart was in the corner, Luke Cornett was in freaking Cambridge, Massachusetts. He's like, I'm not paying attention to this guy. We have a super chat here from Nickhead. Nickhead, thank you for your generous contribution. I'm assuming you're down under in Australia with the $8.14.99. Let's go Knicks, but maybe new coach, new starting lineup, and new energy. Easy to say from outside looking in, I guess. The energy just seems very low too often. Listen, if the Knicks lose this series, the head coach is gone.
Gone.
And the head coach will be gone because he helped give away a game that they could have won. If they win this series, and I still think they will win this series tomorrow, if they win this series, the head coach will be back, but something will have to give. Something will have to change. And I've said it for the longest. I've tweeted it. The championship version of the New York Knicks most likely involves Josh Hart winning Sixth Man of the Year. Because this team needs a player that can go into the starting lineup that can put Josh Hart to the bench. Not that he stinks, but he is. Imagine if Josh Hart got to go balls to the wall for 25 minutes off the bench.
Right.
But he has to play 40. And he has to play 40 next to the 6'1" guard who the head coach says, "Hey, go do something. Go save us, 11." So yeah, and the other thing that there's points that stands out to me, and I'll get your and then I want to hear your thoughts on this one, Jeff. That again, I think they'll win Game 6. They'll go play Indiana, and look, I know I'm not worried about Jalen Brunson's approach to that series because of last year. I'm not worried about Josh Hart's approach. I'm not worried about OG Anunoby's approach. I'm not worried about Deuce McBride's approach. I'm not even worried about Mitchell Robinson's approach. I'm worried about the approaches of the guys who weren't here. Like, are they going to give a shit? Because I'm going to tell you something right now. If you think Madison Square Garden is going to be toxic if they lose Game 6, let's say they win Game 7. If we have to watch Tyrese Halliburton skipping around Madison Square Garden after hitting his 4th open 3 in the first half, dog, it might be gladiator out here, man. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
They need to win. They need to win Friday, just for the prospects of the next couple of rounds. I'm not gonna call it a must win. I'm gonna call it a should win. They should win Game 6 if they want to have 4 days rest. Yeah, four full days rest. Stay at home where you don't got to travel back home. Go right back to your beds. Rest in New York for 4 days, and then host the first round, the conference finals. So that means for the next week, you don't got to go nowhere. If you win on Friday, like the next week or so, you don't actually for the next week.
It's a week. It's a week.
For a week, you get to stay at home. You get to rest up and play games 1 and game 2 in your building. It would have been Monday if they won last night, which would have been today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Same concept, right? They would have moved it up to Monday. But this is an opportunity to slay the dragon, end the dynasty, and end the championship run, get some rest, and prepare for the Indiana Pacers. I hope they are really ready, not just talking the talk, that they're really ready. You saw Jalen Brunson waving to the crowd when they put him on the Jumbotron after he got his 6th foul. The same way I said, y'all better win the series after he flashed them 6 fingers at Asar Thompson. I actually said, y'all better win this game the way you hunted him to get him out the game. That's either, I think Teg said it, that's either going to be an iconic moment or it's going to be lost to history or just memed in general, right? Brunson doesn't have back-to-back bad games in the playoffs. He's averaging, I think Tommy Beer said this, he's averaging like 33, 7, and 7 assists in game 6s. So it's all lined up, Shawn. It's all lined up for them to do it. They need to do it for a variety of reasons. And look, a couple of things from me. One, give credit to the Celtics. Like, Luke Cornett was out of his mind. He had the game of his life. Jaylen Brown stepped up. He did everything they needed to do. Derek White pretty much was Tatum. He dropped Tatum numbers. Pritchard chipped in. Sam Hauser off of that bum ankle came in and hit some threes. Like they got the contributions that the Knicks need to get. I think I think there's simple solutions to clean it up. They just need to do it. Other thing, what do you feel about this whole Jalen Brunson flopper narrative that's been building, really bubbling on social, but now it's permeated national media?
I think it's a combination of listen, Jalen Brunson is a foul baiter. I'll be the first one to tell you. He is. Is he the worst foul baiter in the league? No. Does he also get a terrible whistle? Absolutely. I would love Teg or somebody to put a compilation of all the times he's gotten fouled and there's been no call.
Derek White beat his ass at the end of the half.
Yeah.
Literally beat his ass and they didn't call shit.
Yeah. I think there are some people who really hate foul baiting, and anyone that does it, they will destroy, whether it's Jalen Brunson or Trae Young or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or who else is James Harden. Obviously, he's like the king. Honestly, it doesn't bother me just because you know what? It's like Reggie Jackson said, they don't boo nobody. So this is success. This is our success taking a shot at us. What do you want to do? How you want to deal with it?
Exactly.
And become unsuccessful. So it's whatever. Speaking of debates, we have another super chat, and I will throw this one to you, sir.
All right. Club 520 started a debate on if JB got a better squad than Melo had. Teague said J.R. Smith was better than anyone on this Knicks team besides JB and Cat. Also, Amari and Tyson Chandler greater than Cat and Mitch. I think this team is. I think if Melo had this team, they would have won the chip.
Yes.
If you swap, I don't know who you swap Melo for.
What you put Melo at the 4, put OG at the 3. They never make the Cal trade.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. OG at the 4.
Actually, no. Hold on. Mikal at the 2, Melo at the 3, OG at the 4.
Right, and JB and Cat.
5. Yeah. Yep.
I bet you they don't go through scoring droughts. I bet you they don't go through scoring droughts. Yeah. I don't given where Amari was during that run, I see your Tyson Chandler and Mitch. I'd say I'll give the edge to Tyson because he won a Defensive Player of the Year and he's probably more durable.
Yes.
But it's closer to a wash than it is a distinct advantage. Now, if you tell me, would I rather have Amari or OG Anunoby? Given where his health was at that moment, yeah, I'm going to take OG.
Tyson Chandler is the upgraded, is Mitch at his highest potential.
Right. Right.
So I have no problem saying Tyson is better than Mitch. Yeah, it's not a diss to Mitch. Again, Tyson Chandler won Defensive Player of the Year, NBA champion, what have you. If I had to choose between Cat and Amari, I'm taking Amari. Because while both of them leave something to be desired on defense, you cannot put a player in front of Amari Stoudemire that he knew he was better than and he wouldn't cook him. Because I'm old enough to remember Amari, because Amari had one move. He'd get the ball at the elbow and he'd go right and he'd fly past you and score. Amari used to give Tim Duncan all-time great. He used to give him the business from day one. So, again, the defensive deficiencies are on the same level, but I will say that. The other thing I will say, and by the way, Jeff Teague is exactly. He said, "Oh, hold on, wait a minute." When I said JR, I just thought I thought that was JR like Julius Randle. I didn't see the Smith at the end of this. Oh no, Jeff T, you were smoking high grade bougie, my friend. J.R. Smith is not.
So he's saying
J.R.
Smith is better than OG. J.R. Smith is better than Mikal. J.R. Smith is better than Deuce. J.R. Smith is better than me. He's saying besides JB and Cat, Earl is better than anybody else on the squad.
JR didn't start on that team. He didn't start. Like, look, okay, better score, absolutely. If you poll every GM and say who do you want, OG Anunoby in his prime or J.R. Smith in his prime, 30 GMs are taking OG Anunoby, and that's not a slight onto J.R. Smith, but championship teams more likely have guys like OG Anunoby than J.R. Smith. Again, right. Better score, absolutely better score, but.
Shoot, I'd love to have JR off the bench on this team.
You would?
I said, look at the scoring droughts.
Oh yeah. Off the bench. Oh yeah,
that's what I said. Off the bench, like you slot, you have Deuce, J.R. Smith, Mitch, Mikal, and OG in that second unit, or Hart, or whoever. You gonna get some scoring out of that. But yeah, I mean that's a good thought exercise because you really gotta think. One thing I will say, I do think Brunson has the better squad by far. Like I remember Steve Novak, if he wasn't shooting threes, that was it. That was one of the biggest adjustments that teams made to him, was they stuck to him on the 3-point line and he couldn't do anything else. But if they left him open, it was cash.
Thank you to Out of Pocket Variety Show for your generous contribution, by the way.
Yes, sir.
So, all right. Now we have one more super chat, if I could find it, and it is from our good friends at Fanatics. Happy Friday Thursday. A reminder that we'll be giving away $100 in fan cash on Friday's post-game show. Question for the baseball fans watching, aka not busy. How loud will the boos be for Juan Soto on Friday? MLB player shirt is available for $44.99 at fanatics.com. As a Yankee fan since 1992 and a native of the Bronx since 1981, they're going to boo on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably say 27. Because at the end of the day, he took the money and you left the New York Yankees. Now, I do not besmirch anyone for taking the money, although not every decision that you making financial decisions isn't always the best decision. I know that personally. And $5 million over 15 years is like, okay, but because I know the Yankees highest offer was $760, but they're booing the fuck out of him. They would there'll be some people who clap. Listen, I love Juan Soto. I love Juan Soto since he was a Washington National. I was over the moon when we traded for him. I thought he'd be a Yankee for 10 years, but the principal managing partner of the New York Yankees had other ideas. But yeah, he's getting booed easily.
Yeah, I don't even think that's a question. They booing him every time he's up at the plate. Every single time for the whole series. Ain't gonna be one boo left on the floor. He getting straight booed out the building. He hit a home run, he getting booed twice. So yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We got any more? Or is that it?
That is it. Any final thoughts before we get out of here, sir? I'll let you close.
Oh, this motherfuckers better win, man. Like honestly, like at this point, like it's to the point where I'm not even looking forward to the conference finals. And I was a couple of days ago. Just because because that means the frustration extends. That now, if you gave me my choice, I'd rather be frustrated in the conference finals than frustrated losing games. I don't even want to even fathom what could possibly happen, because the same way how the Game 6 victory, this is another seismic moment in the history of this current iteration of the Knicks. Just like the Game 6, shout out to James Edwards III. He wrote an article about how so much could have changed for the Knicks if they lost that Game 6 in Detroit and had to go back home for a game 7 with the possibility of losing in the first round. Jobs were on the line. Playing spots were on the line. It could have been a lot of player movement, blah, 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 blah. I think those stakes are there and even more if you went up 3-1 on the Celtics without Jason Tatum and you smoke this. I don't think this is going to be the same team by any stretch of the imagination. It could have a ripple effect for years to come. So there are heavy stakes in this game. The heaviest stakes is winning the series. But this specific game can start a domino effect. You win this game, you get out healthy, you make it to the next round. You add another 48 minutes in game 7, especially with everything on the line, you're inviting a lot of negativity around the squad. So y'all got to win, man. Y'all got to win game 6. Win game 6, close a series at home, and use that motivation to keep going forward. They got to win game 6.
They got to win game 6. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Said it well. All right.
All right, man. Well, that does it for Casual Thursday, the Knicks Film School YouTube channel. Thank you for tapping in with us on this special edition Friday. Send all your spirit bomb energy to the New York Knicks. They will need it to put the final stake in the heart of the Boston Celtics at home. Close it out. As frustrated as I am, I do think they're going to do it. Piss us off for 48 minutes, but they'll do it. And I hope they do, and I hope we'll be able to talk to you next week. Casual Friday, Eastern Conference Finals, Knicks Pacers edition. That's what I'm waiting for, and this is what needs to happen. So, Shawn, thank you for locking in with us once again. Thank you for everybody who joined us live. Thank you for tuning in. Like this video.
Wait. Oh, we got 2 more super chats. Wow.
Excuse me. Post-credit seed. Post-credit seed.
Here we go. NY Tony 91. Wish we saw some Sham or Wright minutes for once. I think if you see either one of them, you'll see DeLon Wright before you see Landry Shamet because of defense. Although with Tatum out, maybe you can get away with Shamet. But whatever.
I don't think we need to see Payne minutes, unfortunately. I think the Payne minutes are over. Like, this dude, I don't know what he's on. That shot in game 4 when he heat checked when Cat was cooking. God.
Yes.
I don't know. Awful. He's great for morale, but he's too volatile on the court. This ain't a series.
And one more, you can read this one.
Post-game, Macri said Cat may not be a core future piece. What's the return for a Cat package? Cat does not look built for Tibbs. Well, given his salary, his return would have to be one of these high-priced stars that are floating around.
Yes.
So I guess that's the answer. It would be one of those stars.
Although I don't think it'll be and listen, if you're thinking of a certain star that plays in the Midwest that a report came out that he may be interested in, possibly, maybe kind of sort of exploring his options, don't hold your breath. So, all right. So, yeah. So that's that. Again, thank you. So thank you for tuning in to Casual Friday on Thursday. Jeff, take us home.
All right. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for watching. Go Knicks, win game 6. And I hope to see you next week. You see your faces and be happy and be frustrated about the Eastern Conference Finals that they're up 2-0, but they should have probably been up 4-0. We don't know. But that does it for us. Thank you for locking in. Go Knicks.
Go Knicks.